One of the things that's been pretty amazing to me is we've been seeing these parade of earnings coming out, and companies are basically lowering guidance left and right. In fact, I think the stat was that it's the most lowering of guidance that we've seen since the COVID pandemic, when people were freaking out and we saw that big decline in March. Yet the stock market continues to go up, mainly because people are so conditioned to think that the Fed is just going to print our way out of this, even in spite of a CPI that's been rising multiple months in a row. So I think it's just an interesting little disparity there. The investor seems very programmed to just be like, doesn't matter, who cares if the economy tanks, if this will actually let the Fed print even more money, and then the stock market will just go higher.
There's so much wealth, and there's been so much wealth creation that's created all inflation. I don't think anything matters until that stock market confirms it.
Number one, the price action recently has been kind of muted, right? I mean, it's this kind of consolidation, I guess you'd call it consolidation, and you were just mentioning before we started the stream that some of the regulatory stuff is getting kind of crazy out there, and you want to just kind of give everyone a rundown of what's going on there, because I don't know everything here.
Wait a minute, everyone. Welcome to BitcoinZilla, your platform for daily cryptocurrency analysis and news. Our mission is to keep it simple. BitcoinZilla offers engaging information that is easy to understand. Our analysts keep their eyes on the latest news to provide valuable insights via email. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Join our community of 10,000 subscribers and experience the new edge with BitcoinZilla. Subscribe now. Gareth will share his insights on a surprising endorsement. Will it sway the crypto crowd? Bull flags on the horizon. Unraveling the signals in gold, stocks, and Bitcoin. Can printing money shield us from a CPI spike? Discover the investor's gamble. Let's join Gareth in this interview about these topics and more.
Not unexpected that it would be muted right now. I've said it 1,000 times. A lot of people have said it. This is exactly what happens in every single halving cycle, and every single time people seemingly are surprised. But you generally have the halving. There's no more catalysts. The supply reduction doesn't really matter immediately, and then you get 4 to 6 months of extremely boring, choppy, down-up action before things go up. I don't know if that will repeat, but if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. So people have been expecting Bitcoin to continue up. It's showing right now, my point, that it's generally an uncorrelated asset that just does its own thing. And you can see that. First of all, I mean, if you are really worried, that kind of looks bull flaggy, right? So yeah. I don't think that's a very big deal. It's catching a bid here on the 100 MA, and, that's kind of acted as support basically since the 20,000s. But I mean, look at the Qs. Kind of bull flaggy, a big cup and handle. SPX, kind of bull flaggy, retracing the entirety of these drops overnight. I mean, everything just kind of looks bullish. Gold, same thing. All I see is bull flags literally everywhere. But diving into Bitcoin itself, you would expect this choppy sideways action, even if we have days where SPX is up and the Qs are up just like today. As far as on the regulatory front, it's been insane. And it's not getting as much news because people don't talk about what's happening, but the SEC and DOJ have come after self-custody. The FBI has come after self-custody. The IRS has come after self-custody. This isn't just an attack on altcoins anymore. This is an attack on self-custodying your Bitcoin, meaning that you will buy a BlackRock ETF and you will like it if you want to own Bitcoin in the United States if this continues in this direction. Biden today, I mean, crazy, actually yesterday, said that he would veto an order that's about to pass through Congress and the Senate, bipartisan, that would allow simpler custody rules for real banks to custody Bitcoin. Really insane. Like BNY Mellon and State Street, the biggest custodians in the world, want to custody Bitcoin. But right now, the SEC had passed a ruling that they have to treat it as a liability and not an asset on their balance sheet, meaning that if they custody Bitcoin for someone, they have to custody an equal amount of cash to offset it on the balance sheet. It's ridiculous. You would think that anyone rationally in this space would want State Street and BNY Mellon to be able to custody Bitcoin for them with full insurance and all of the beautiful things that come with having it in an insured bank. Whether you believe that or not is up to you, as a Bitcoiner. But Biden says he's going to veto it. And at the exact same time, Trump came out exceptionally pro-crypto yesterday for the first time really ever. He said, Biden doesn't understand crypto. If you're pro-crypto, you have to vote for me. And Ryan Selkis from Masari up on stage with him. I mean, absolutely crazy. I don't believe a word generally the man says. I think he's trying to buy votes from a crypto audience. But still, there's a line in the sand, and Biden is just, burning any chance down of getting this audience to.
Retail trading platform Robinhood has announced that its crypto revenue grew by 232% in the first quarter. Despite this success, Robinhood faces potential enforcement action by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, alleging that some of the cryptocurrencies offered on its platform are securities. Jen Nieuwenhuids, a gold market analyst, has predicted a new multi-year bull market for gold. According to different factors, including the low percentage of gold as part of the global international reserves, and the size of the equity market, gold prices might be preparing to rise, putting prices of $8,000 per ounce in the realm of possible. Ripple and XRPL Labs have become founding members of the Direct Alliance, which aims to create an interoperable recovery standard for digital assets. This initiative is expected to simplify the recovery process and encourage widespread adoption by making digital asset management more user-friendly and secure.
Is that wrong to think that way? I would assume
sure.
it would be.
Well, it's the past performance. And I'm showing you something I want to point out is it's completely wrong. First of all, it depends on what level it's happening from. So we'll just take the S&P 500 versus GDP. It's the highest. The average here is really about 1. I can do the ratio, but this is how it is since 1950, how high it is. So it's never really been that high since 1950. And you take S&P 500 versus it's a 100-week moving average. This is what I show you in white. It's just bumping up against the 100-week moving average. I show it at the same time as commodities are rolling over. This is what's changed. And here's the key thing I wanted to show you. I'll end with this is you keep talking about cash rates, people talking about high cash rates. They're actually very low because it's classic human nature. So here what I show is your total amount of cash, money markets funds is widely quoted around $6 trillion. But if you look at the market cap of the NASDAQ, around $28 trillion, it's only about 27%. It's almost the smallest in our database. And, I can go back to the 80s in this. I like to compare that to what was it right before the crash, about 115%. And that's NASDAQ. So this is what classically happens in human nature. People expect the past to be, when we all agree in the same thing, typically doesn't happen. That's a quote from Benjamin Disraeli, former Prime Minister of the UK. But that's what people are using for the comfort. I remember hearing that in 2006 and 2007 when the housing market started to tilt over. Oh, we've never been down that much on a one-year basis. Well, that's what happens when you have that groupthink. You got to worry. I just point out the facts. Is cash levels are so low because it's a human nature. If you're not in it, you're falling behind it. At some point, you're supposed to look for alternative assets. And that's, to me, part of the reason gold's outperforming. I think people will be looking for Bitcoin, but then you have to worry that Bitcoin does have a much higher volatility when we do get that. That's a normal drawdown in a bull market. We haven't had that yet. Not for Bitcoin. I'm talking about beta.
On May 9, 2024, Bitcoin's value faced a decline, hitting an intraday low of $60,634 at approximately 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The latest downturn has led to the liquidation of about $34.79 million in Bitcoin long positions across various derivatives markets. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed H.U. Res. 109, a resolution aimed at overturning the Securities and Exchange Commission's SAB 121 regulations on digital assets. The resolution seeks to reduce regulatory burdens and promote safer custodianship of digital assets by regulated banks. However, the White House has backed the SEC, issuing a veto threat, emphasizing, if the president were presented with H.U. Res. 109, he would veto it. Following the recent crypto endorsement by former U.S. President Donald Trump and his criticism of current President Joe Biden, the value of the two meme coins linked to these political figures, TrueMumpete and BODEN, have significantly increased over the past day. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.